Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of my Planet Hulk cosplay. Today I'm going to show you how I made the axe, which is one of the weapons that he uses in the upcoming movie Thor Ragnarok. So what I did, first of all I sketched out a template by using some reference pictures from the internet. And once I scaled it on a small piece of paper, I pretty much scaled it up to the size that I wanted. This way, instead of me just cutting foam and not wasting foam, I could get the right size that I needed. Now what I did, I made sure that when I do cut these, I use a very sharp knife. Foam does tend to dull the blade, so in between cuts I always make sure I sharpen my knife just by using a knife sharpener. Now what I did here, I actually just cut the blade part of the axe, and I'm actually going to cut this part out, cutting it at an angle. Just making sure I do like a nice deep cut there through, because what I'm going to do is actually flip over the larger part there of the blade, and that way when I do attach it, it's going to have a little bit of a shape to it. Now what I'm going to do, before I do attach this, I'll heat it up and I'll make sure that these are the same size. So I'm not going to attach these just yet. So you can see that I've got it pretty much the same size on both sides. And what I'm going to do is sand this down with a 220 grit sanding block. And what I'm going to do now is I've got some PVC pipe, about 1.5 inch, and I've cut it to the desired length that I want. And I'm going to spray paint it with this copper plastic fusion, because what it does, it actually bonds to plastic pretty well. I did a quick kind of test on the axe part there of how it's going to look. And I kind of know I jumped a little bit ahead here, and I attached all the foam pieces that I cut, just to kind of see how it's going to look there. I used Barge cement and I cut all the smaller pieces out of foam. Now how I attached this pipe part is I glued these small pieces of foam to the pipe, put it inside the box there, so that way it kind of holds a little better. And I just took my time when I glued these pieces, just doing it in stages. And on the end I also cut a small circular dome out of foam and attached a small piece of foam just to kind of close off the end, and I did the same there with the top. And now I'm making the back part of the axe. So I kind of measured this out. I did this in 2 pieces, and I also cut all of the shapes there and the dimensions, doing the angular cuts. So you can see there, those kind of like the top part there that I'm going with. This part was a little tricky, took a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that square piece there to the top, and then on the last part of the axe I'm going to cut these triangular shapes, and I'm going to attach them to make the spike, but I'm going to make sure that the edges have an angle, so when I glue them, it actually holds the angle shape. So it's going to look like it just right there. Now I've got this all glued and attached, and I'm going to let this dry. Now this is the back part of the axe, and then I'm going to glue that to the other piece that I already made. And I know it doesn't have it in the picture. I did want to add some rivets, because you don't have to be 100% accurate when you're building a weapon. I always like to add my own stuff on here, so I like to use googly eyes, and once you spray paint these with plastic dip, as you can see here, they kind of look like rivets. So now I've got everything attached, guys, and I kind of primed it first with some copper primer, and then I spray painted it with some silver and gold. And to get the weathered effect while it was still wet, I got a rag and just kind of brushed it off and around there. And then once that was dry, I spray painted it with some acrylic gloss coat, just so it kind of gives this a nice sheen. So this is the axe that I made, guys. I also plan to make the rest of the weapons. I've already made the helmet. You can check that in my previous video. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and we will see you again real soon.